Hello everyone, and welcome to a quick video on Don't Starve. This is actually going to be on the other parts of the games, the parts you don't normally see. So, when you go into the game, you're going to have the launcher. Of course, you'll see the updates, blah blah blah, last update, next update. You can click here, it'll give you can give it to your email address, notify you. If you click more games, it's actually kind of cool. It takes you to Steam, it loads your browser, loads it into Steam, shows you the rest of the games by the Clay Entertainment guys. I think it's Clay. I'm guessing. They've made Shank, they made a couple other really good games, very good to look at. So what I wanted to show you, though, was in here, in the play, when you first start a new world, I wanted to show you what kind of things you can do to it, should you decide to play, and show you a little bit about the characters. So I'm going to start with the characters, and then we'll show you the world, and I'll kind of explain everything as we go. So, the characters, as you've seen, we always start with Wilson. I've always started with Wilson when I've done it, on any of the videos I've done. I've played the other characters a couple times. His advantage, every character has an advantage in some way, and in his particular case, it's the beard. The beard allows him to shave it for beard hairs to make a meat effigy, or if you want, you can keep the beard grown fully in winter, and when you get the full-on hobo beard, you can actually, it gives a really good bonus, like 2 minutes or something like that, of time away from the fire before you freeze. It's a ridiculously good bonus during winter. His bonus is good throughout the game. There's not a point where it's not somehow... There's points where it's not really handy, but even no matter how long, if your game goes 300 days, 400 days, beard hair and the ability to grow a beard during winter are both still going to be an advantage. Then we have Willow. Willow is, she's immune to fire damage, as it says, and she starts fires in the dark. And what they mean by that is that when it's absolute dark night and that creature, the Gru, which is the thing that you never see but it hits you and kills you if you don't get to a lit place, when that thing comes, it'll never hit her because she will always start a fire at her feet. And that's an advantage and a disadvantage, because at the same time as that it saves you from never getting killed by that, you might be standing in the middle of the forest and set it on fire, and that has happened to me. So she's pretty good. She rocks, actually. She's one of the stronger characters in my opinion, and of course those types of advantages, as long as you're playing a little more careful, they're good forever. Wendy's a little bit difficult for me. Maybe it's the playstyle I'm not good with. Could be. Some people I imagine will have great results with her. So at night, Wendy has Abigail, who's a ghost who shows up at night. And Abigail will attack aggro monsters, I've noticed. Not always, though. She isn't always. She can kind of sometimes help protect you from the wolves and everything. But the problem with her is sometimes she gets aggroed. Sometimes she aggroes things to you. And of course, if she dies, it takes a couple days before she comes back. All in all, she's not a bad character. She's not as hard as she used to be. She used to be like, if you bumped into her, and it probably still is, if you bump into her, you'll take damage. And before, she would attack stuff, and you'd have things beelining for you, and her beelining for you, and you'd just get pinned in between her and the things killing you. It didn't always go well, but she is a decent character. All the characters are good to play. They're very well balanced. So next we have Wolfgang. Wolfgang is probably the one that people like me should play, where you tend to fail this game pretty hard at some point in the beginning. Wolfgang's stronger, more health, bigger stomach. Bigger stomach, you still have to fill it up. You still have to eat more to fill it, but you can go longer in between eating. All in all, he's sort of like... he's the easier difficulty level. If you think Wilson is normal difficulty, he's easier, not easy. WX78 is just that. Can eat spoiling food with no penalty, so he won't take he won't take a sanity hit, won't take a health hit. But for anybody who ever goes crazy and goes, I'm going to play that WX78 guy because he's a robot, he still has the same sanity just like everybody else, so it will not save you, sadly. Alright, and the last two. We have Wickerbottom, who's the Librarian, now this is a little vague if you don't know what they're saying. What it means is that she doesn't need to the machine to prototype a lot of stuff. And it kind of all moves down one set. So a lot of the stuff, everything that the science machine prototypes, she can just build from day one, right at the moment where you jump up. The alchemy machine stuff tends to either also be available from the moment you get in, or it'll only require a science machine, and so on and so on, and it all drops back and kind of slots in a slightly different way so that your tech tree... Tech is not going to be the things that gets you killed here. You're not going to be waiting on a backpack or anything like that. Her advantage is really good in the beginning of the game. Not so much later in the game, but I think the beginning of the game is genuinely harder, so that's not necessarily a bad thing, because by the time her bonus sort of wears out its usefulness, you're past the really difficult stuff. And we have Wes. Wes is hard mode. Wes cannot talk, and Wes has trouble staying alive, and what they mean by that is he has less sanity, less health, and less stomach room than everybody else. Now we're going to go... That's obvious what that does, but can't talk, and that seems like it's not that big of a deal because nobody really talks. But if you notice, they will play a musical instrument, and they will have words above their head where they are talking. And in the case of, like, say, Wolfgang, when hounds are coming, he'll start saying, "I hear doggies," or something similar to that. Wickerbottom, when she starts getting down on hunger, she'll say, "Librarian needs food." Wes doesn't do any of that. Wes does a little silent pantomime, and there's no text above his head, and there's no musical instruments. So sometimes he can actually be more difficult because he's not giving you any cues to pay attention to. And that's why they say can't talk being a disadvantage. And in his case, they're both disadvantages. And then we have the final unknown. I haven't beat the game since they released and added this character, so... But before that, there really wasn't a beating the game. So, I don't have him yet. So, we shall eventually, hopefully, find out who he is. Alright, and Customize World. Now, Customize World is this. You can change all of these. You want lots of carrots, you could have lots of carrots. And there's, pages and pages and pages of stuff. Pretty much everything in the world can be customized at this point. You want pigs? You got pigs. You want beefaloes that are always in heat? Yeah, they apparently exist. And you can load your world up with them. You want no target birds? You can do that. And then, if you're having a lot of problems with your world, you can kind of tweak these to make it a little easier on you, and I think that's genuinely fun. Also, if you want, you can do the crazy thing and turn everything up. And I may do a playthrough just to show you that. Essentially, if I do that, my whole goal is to just see how many days I can survive with the chaos that goes on, and you'll be amazed. It's crazy. The one thing I will say is this: world size default. Medium is okay. Large is on a lot of computers pushing it. Huge will actually make most machines I've seen lag. So, medium and default seems to be pretty good. You might want to stick to those. Anyhow, that takes care of the things you can do. Oh, by the way, this is hound spawning points. So if you wonder what these are, that's what that does. As I was saying, thank you guys for watching this, and that is the things you can do for your new game in Don't Starve, and a little description of the characters. Hopefully it helped you out. Otherwise, hopefully you enjoyed it. And take care, everyone. I'll have another episode of Don't Starve coming out very soon, and have a great day, everyone.